In today's strategy session, we are going to be the artists who take things to the next level in productivity. What's good, world? It's your boy, the Earthling Gangsta. Welcome to my channel. This channel is all about motivation, inspiration, professional development for any artist who is looking to strategically increase their impact, performance, and income. Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. So, Steal Like an Artist. A lot of artists, everybody wants to be 160,000 billion% original. But what Austin talks about is that nothing is really original. Everything is actually recycled. So a very successful, talented choreographer and dancer, Lando Wilkins, I was at a workshop and he was talking about how, a lot of people want originality. Well, where your originality comes from is you taking the basics of dance, the basics of hip hop, the formation, and then the fundamentals, and how you take in those fundamentals and how you execute them and mix them up is where your originality comes from. And this is what Austin is talking about. Steal like an artist. Now, we're not necessarily talking about steal, but be inspired. Be willing to be inspired. Usher talks a lot about how in his process of creativity, he goes back to previous artists and he looks at their style and what they did to transform the game, and he uses that as inspiration. So why reinvent the wheel? We've all heard that saying, don't reinvent the wheel. Some things are great, some things work. Some people think they need to completely reinvent it, whenever the best thing that you can do is actually take what it is and then just put your own little twist to it. And that's what you can do to improve the world and make your impact on society and increase your performance, okay? So, Steal Like an Artist. One thing that he talks about is geography is no longer our master. Thank God for the internet. I can drop these What's Good World episodes, talk to you because of the internet, right? 50 years ago, geography was our master. If you were stuck in a small town that didn't support artistic development, and you didn't have the access to the talent and all that kind of stuff, then you were in a very difficult situation. Nowadays, with the internet, we can find our own support group. We can get access to the information that is going to help us increase our performance, like these What's Good World episodes, these strategy sessions, right? My channel, there's other channels out here that give us that access to information that's actually going to help us get to the next level. I was having a conversation with a lady who is on my board of advisors. She was on the board of directors of the public school system in my hometown. We were talking about how the internet, 50 years ago, if you were depressed in your bed and you were so depressed and you couldn't get up, you had no way to get to that inspiration, right? To get to that source of motivation. However, nowadays, if you're depressed, you might not have the energy to get up, but maybe you can muster the energy to just reach over and grab your cell phone and then push in something, push in a website, push in an app, and get some inspiration and get some motivation to help you get through the day. Right? That's the beauty of the internet. Nowadays, you can find mentors. Maybe, and listen, I'm not saying use the internet 110%, like just be on the internet, just be some Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram zombie, or YouTube zombie. That's not what I'm talking about. However, I am talking about using the internet and leveraging it. So, for example, for me, I know the internet was fantastic because while I had to travel to Chicago to find my main dance mentor, I was able to use the internet to stay in contact with him, to continue to seek that information. I was able to use the internet to drop dance videos so I could send them to him and get the feedback, so I can get that constructive feedback so I can better myself, right? Wherever you're at, you can use the internet to connect with people, to search for some motivation, right, and search for support. Another great thing that this book talks about, Steal Like an Artist, is that the world is more of a small town, okay? So be nice. The world is really big, but in some ways the world is really, really small. And if you go back to previous strategy sessions, we talk a lot about niching down and finding your little niche and finding a very small group of people, or a very small problem, and fixing that small problem, right? And the smaller you get, there's just a smaller community, which is fine. If you're an artist, you're going to find out that the artist community is really, really small if you're really working the network like you should be. Okay? It's a small world, so be nice. You don't know who you're gonna piss off. You don't know, and that person that you might piss off might go on to be a fantastic artist and be the leader of a lot of projects that you're trying to get into. So be nice. And he talks about quit picking fights and go make some work. Now, how many of us are Facebook warriors? I know I used to be. How many of us are internet warriors? I know I used to be, right? And I would just spend hours upon hours, stay up till 3 o'clock, typing up the best Facebook statuses, making sure that I said the right thing. And I did this like a month ago, and it's just dumb. I was pissed at myself for just taking the time to get in a Facebook fight, right? But that time that we spend fighting, the energy that we spend fighting, we all have a limited amount of glucose, brain energy, right? And we spend half of it, if not more, on fighting. Sometimes fighting on Facebook, fighting on in person, right? What can we do? Stop spending that time. Stop spending that energy. Energy is infinite. We don't have an infinite amount of energy within ourselves. Stop spending it on fighting and spending it on your art. Use that energy to create something. Maybe you're pissed. Well, create something about you being pissed and be more productive with it. We only have 24 hours in a day. If you spend an X amount of those hours fighting with somebody, then just know that you could have spent that X amount of hours better in your craft, making the world a little bit better. Okay, so 2 questions to sum this up, all right? To go off with a bang. What is one thing that you can do? How can you leverage the internet? How can you begin to use the internet to better your craft? So can you go to the internet for some support? Can you go to the internet for some inspiration? Can you use the internet to begin to find mentors? What can you do? Who are the top people on the internet that you could follow to begin to seek some advice, to begin to seek some strategies, to begin to steal, right, like an artist? And number 2, how much time, be honest with yourself, how much time do you spend fighting on Facebook? How much time do you spend becoming a Facebook warrior? And what could you do with your time instead? What artwork could you work on instead? And if you're, let's say you don't spend a lot of time on the internet, within your time frame, how much of your time do you spend gossiping about somebody, complaining about somebody else? And whenever that happens, what could you do instead? So y'all know who it is. It's your boy, the Earthling Gangsta. I'm not your life coach. I'm not your guru. I just am. Don't waste another second. Subscribe to a better future filled with creativity, fulfillment, and impact. Subscribe to this channel, leave comments, engage with me, and check out the rest of my videos instantly with a click of a button. Y'all know the drill. Master your movement, make your mark, and maximize your message.